What's your favorite episode so far on Uncontrolled Substance TV?
So since you know so much, who was it? Cause from what I heard, it came from such and such, supposedly related to Sabrina husband. Let me tell you something.
Listen, I ain't playing with him. Trust me, I'ma get him. I'ma hit him, and whoever with him and it's next to kin. And if I gotta plot to fish him out, I got to kill him.
I do my dirt, I put that work in by my motherfucking self, and I ain't into owing niggas. Don't do me no favors, don't pay me no mind, don't give me no help.
Man, you frontin' for nothing. You should be ripping and running, putting the clip in the gun and lacing your boots and slipping your gloves on. Clearing your mental soon as you get in the rental and go get the hunting something. You sound like you wanted to be peace, ain't nothing.
Yo, that's your ego, my nigga. You too eager, my nigga. I told you I got it. I hope you not ignoring the shit that I'm telling you, bro. You ain't listening, thinking you fixing my problem. No bullshit, you not, man. I get off the phone, bro. I don't want to talk.
Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Joe Pro 973, and I'm back with another VID. That's right, Uncontrolled Substance TV. We got a very, very, very special guest today. The brother Middy Murdock, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, bro. I appreciate you for having me here.
Hey, man, I appreciate you for blessing the platform with your presence, man. What's going on? How you feeling today?
I feel good, man. I mean, I'm in a good space, you know. It's hot outside.
It's hot outside. It's hot in the studio, but we some truth.
That's right. That's right.
We're going to make this thing
We've
happen.
been through worse.
Absolutely. We definitely have. And so you are a person who needs no introduction, but for those who may have been under a rock in the city of Newark and all throughout Essex County, let's start off with some of your earliest memories growing up in the bricks.
Oh, so first and foremost, I grew up in
Patterson,
right, I grew up in Patterson. Nah, I'm just fucking with that. So I grew up in Hayes Homes. I started there, you know, 17th, I know it was West Kenny Street, 5th floor, building 274, 5C was the door number. Earliest memories was Hayes Homes.
Okay.
And then I think we moved to, I think there was 17th Avenue, 65 or 61. I lived in those buildings too.
Okay. So Hayes Home. And so just, you know, from a person who's not a project baby, you know, I didn't even grow up on a number block. So actually, I do have part of my history growing up on some of the number blocks, but for the most part, I was in some houses. But as a person who grew up as a person from the projects where you got family, all these flights above you, all these flights below you, and the next building over, can you explain like what that was as a kid coming up in that era?
So, I mean, back then, you know, it's poverty, but my mother didn't make it seem like it was poverty, right? My mother made sure that we was, you know, we was comfortable living, and we never knew we was poor. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that was a good thing for us. Wasn't a good thing now that I'm older, and I kind of look back on it like, bro, we had food stamps. It was the envelope with the green, the 5s and the 10s and the 2. Yeah, it was the book. So, you know, then I didn't realize what it was, but it was definitely an experience. It was a community, though. That I can say it was a community. If you was outside and you did anything, somebody knew somebody, and you got in trouble before you got upstairs.
Exactly. So it may have been Miss Netta over here.
Right.
She done, you know, found out. You might have got your little situation situated at that point in time, but then once you got in the house, it was something
right.
Totally
it was something totally different, and they definitely took you upstairs to your mother. I mean, it was. We got to see. Like I come from that era, you know. That was a high. It was a heroin era back then, and a crack era too.
Yeah.
So the dope fiends then was different from the dope fiends now. Like,
okay.
So
in what ways?
So the dope fiends back then had big hands and big ankles and big feet, right? Yeah. So they would shoot heroin. Now the addicts there sniff it. So it was a different environment, and then it was the drug dealers was different. Like it was kingpins then. So you know it was real live players then. So we had to bear witness to most of that stuff coming outside, but we also didn't have to go outside either. We could have stayed in the hallways and never went outside and still had fun. So I had a childhood. I can at least say I did have a childhood that was something.
Somewhat fun. So you was able to see, you know, everything as it was unfolding, but you kind of also was in your own world too. And
right.
You kind of was just able to just be a kid.
Absolutely, because it was always something to do.
Yeah.
The whole building jump rope, males and females. Like we would play A-B.
Oh, so it wasn't just like, oh nah, the shorties over here. We doing the double dutch getting in.
Nah, the whole building.
Okay.
Everybody played. It was called A-B, so it'd be one jump rope and one person on each end, and we'd go through the whole alphabet: A, B, C, D, and then we'd go through the whole alphabet. Right, you know what I mean? So it was always something to do, man. It was always fun. It was always love. You know what I mean?
So at what age can you recall like y'all moving out of the projects and then moving, you know, elsewhere throughout the city?
So I think we left Hayes Homes around, I think I was about 12 or 13.
Okay. Oh, so you was able to really kind of like see what was happening in your environment.
Absolutely.
As a 12-year-old, they
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I was in the sixth grade when I left, sixth grade when I left.
Okay.
So I was about 12 because I think my last year, because I knew I was moving, it traumatized me. So I went to school and didn't do no work.
Oh, because you was already kind of checked out at that point.
Like once my mother said we moving, I'm like, I gotta leave my friends. I don't know what's going on. And as I'm older now, so I kind of understand what it was with the traumatic experience that I had. But I remember when she told me and I went to school, I just didn't want to do no work no more. I'm like, I'm leaving, so what's the point of me even doing anything?
So
right?
You didn't engage as probably much as you probably should have or could have.
Right. But I had a substitute teacher. I'm never going to forget this. I forget his name. He was there for one day. And he taught me, because he seen me. So he seen me as a he seen me, not.
He saw you coming up.
He seen me as an individual that day.
Oh, okay.
Because he made me sit next to me, like sit right here. I think I was drawing on the desk or something. He's like, sit right here. And he grabbed a piece of paper, a pencil, and a ruler, and he taught me 2-point perspective in drawing.
Okay.
From that day, I never forgot what he taught me, and then I use it today in my art. So it was just something that I never forget that. So I think it was a moment in time where there was that one piece of information I needed that I was going to take with me.
It changed your life.
Yeah.
Like it stuck with you and it influenced how you would, you know, move forward with your art. And I will say, man, you're definitely a very creative guy because I saw some of your drawings. You got a lot going on. We're going to talk about some of them things later, but yeah, that creativity definitely has stuck with you throughout the years. And so from an artistic standpoint, because, you know, you kind of also did music also. And so what kind of put you into that mode? Man,
so my first experience with hip-hop was in the 80s. Old head dude, name was Delaquan, Dondre. Okay. They called him Delaquan. I remember the first rap I ever listened to was Rakim. He told me, I was standing across the street by the store. He was like, listen to this. I had to be about 6 or 7 years old, bro. Okay. So this is the 80s, you know what I'm saying?
That impacted you like, yeah.
I had to be about 6 because he let me hear Rakim. And then me and my niece, she's a bartender at Foxtrap. So, Bina, if you watch this, you know I'm talking about you.
Hey, Bina.
We was in we used to be in the hallway, and she'd beatbox in the corner of the wall, so we'd bass off in the corner. Okay. And that was the first experience of hip hop, and then we do break dancing. So we always had that culture in us as kids, right? Yeah. And then when we moved, and I moved to Chadwick, there was a group of dudes outside. Asamad, Nasif, Shaheed, Push Buttons, who got a studio now, Push Buttons, Korak, Don Ron, T-Bone, Cool B Fresh. I remember this like it was yesterday, bro. Okay. I promise you. Yeah. Before, I seen them in a cypher, and I used to just go stand and listen to them rap. Yeah. I would stand and listen to them rap, and I never really tried to do nothing. And then my man Hassan White, because he called me one day and said he taught me how to rap, but I don't know why he think he taught me how to rap.
He tried to claim that.
Yeah, he tried to claim that for me. But Hassan White showed me how to formulate 16 bars.
Okay.
That's to count my bars. Okay. Teaching me how to rap is something you can't do. That's something I got to do, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna give him his credit for that. And I would just study them dudes, bro. Yeah. Study them, and then one day I just spit something. and it was fire. After that, I ain't looked back. Me and Fat Mike used to sit in the backyard of his house, and we'd record, and we'd listen to some beats, and then we'd record, and I'd record over the beats, and we'd rap over it.
Oh, okay. So y'all was doing karaoke, like play one video, and then
Right.
record, okay,
Yeah. It was like the first makers of karaoke when you think about it. Definitely that. Definitely.
My homeboy, he definitely used to do that too, but that was crazy. And so once you started kind of doing, you know, your own thing, the brothers in the neighborhood that was flowing too, like they kind of was doing their thing as well. So did that kind of give you like more of an inspiration to kind of look at, or was it like, I'm just about to just, you know, step out and do my own thing? Like, how did you actually get your foot into, like, you know, becoming Middy Murdock, the artist?
So in the beginning, like a lot of them had influence, but I think because I used to listen to a lot of music, and I come from like a musical background, like my uncles and them used to sing. So it was something naturally in me to go. Like I would go in the house and I would just write for hours. Like I was writing, I was doing a lot of writing, and the first name I had wasn't Middy, it was Kid Capone.
Kid Capone.
So it was Kid Capone first.
Okay.
You know, because you as a younger, we took on gangsters' names. Like
Exactly.
People didn't even know who they was. We just took on their names. And it was Kid Capone at first, and then it went from Kid Capone to Lil Middy. And we would go through the city. We would walk through the city and just battle people, man. We would battle everybody. So we was known for doing that, you know. And it got bigger because, you know, the Zoo Crew would do block parties, and they had the most epic block parties in the city, and it would be rappers there.
Okay.
Like the Do-It-Alls, the Tretches, the Redmans, the Biz Markie, the Cool V, they there. Okay. I'm in the middle of the cipher, the littlest one, I'm going off. I'm going off.
So that's when you kind of like got your exposure and things of that nature, where people actually knew, like, this is not just me and Mike in the backyard or in the house doing it. Now I'm putting it on Front Street, and people actually see my talent.
Absolutely. I had my own crew on the corner. First it was the corner crew. We went from the corner crew to brothers, you know, some of the brothers was older than us, like Don Ron and them, punching them. They was getting older, so they kind of went their own way.
Okay.
And then it left a group was out there, and we had a crew we started doing the Psycho Ward, where we, you know, everybody had their own little chambers and shit before the Wu-Tang.
Okay.
Right. I remember me watching the Wu-Tang Protect Your Neck video. I remember watching that video. I ran outside. Yo, it's a group of dudes. They hard. They dope. They just like us. I remember it. Right. So we had that group, and then being in connection right down the street from the Zoo Crew, and we doing what we doing. The music kind of was something that they took on to. So I was doing beats. Like I was doing beats for them. Like I started writing for.
So you was making beats?
Absolutely. Me and my man Ant Strong, God bless her dead. Ant Strong he had the equipment in the house, so we in there doing beats, and he teaching me how to sample and all this other stuff. So did beats, and I got down with I still had my crew, but the Zoo Crew had a group called Zuicide, and it was me, Supreme C, Pizzazz, and Rel, and it was like 4 of us.
Yeah.
And it was, bro, it was dope because we did some dope records. Like, so this is a story in that too. You know, we did a record called we went to Philly to meet up with Dre. Dre had just finished. He had just left. Death Row.
So we casually just went to Philly to go meet up with Dr. Dre.
So because
as some youngins from
Zoo Crew was a different level, man. That was a different machine,
so
bro.
Had that power and that
it was a different machine, bro.
It was those connections to
absolutely
put you in front of certain.
Absolutely. And Dre he had talked about a joint called 24 Hours to Live. He was like, I want y'all to do this song called 24 Hours to Live. Okay. And we went and did it, right? And somehow, I ain't gonna say no names, but somehow the record got leaked to Puff.
Okay. Oh, because they had the song 24 Hours to Live.
Yeah, it came from us first.
Okay.
So, you know, we got swindled. You know what I'm saying? The game is dangerous, bro. Like, that's not the only incident, but because we could get into that too. But we did a record called Keep It Wild Like a Zoo.
Okay.
And God bless her dead, my man One Shot played the record. He took it to East Orange, and he played the record for Curry and his man Yam. God bless the dead Yam. One Shot and Yam is gone. God bless the dead. And it brought him to me and told me to get in Curry van, and we listening to this record. and they didn't know who I was on the record at the time, right? So he Hawk was like, yo, check the last dude, that's him right there. And Curry was like, yo, what you doing? I'm like, man, like, you want to come take a ride with me? I don't even know, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how we do. We young,
like,
we don't really
like,
care too much. You know what I'm saying? We just rock out. So I end up going to East Orange with him, and we started doing, like, he started paying for studio time. And I actually sold the rims off his van, and paid for the studio time at Dave Bellocchio's spot.
So he believed in you that much?
That much.
That extent?
To that extent. And then he let KG brother Pookie Gist hear the record. And Pook, he was like, Pook, I want you to hear my man. And Pook heard a couple of records that I did, and then he took me upstairs, and that's when I met Milkbone.
Oh, okay. Because you wanted to go on tour.
Yeah, when I go on tour, I met Milk, and we spit for each other, and like, yo, you want to do a song? Man, I ended up doing a song with him. He's like, you want to do another song? Yeah, we could do another song. And then went from that to, yo, you want to go on tour? Hell yeah, I ain't going to stay here.
And so... What year was that for those that's out here listening?
That was in 1995. I graduated high school in 1994.
Okay, so you was essentially about 18, 19 years old, and in 95 you went on tour with Milkbone.
Yep.
And so how long did that last, and what was that experience like?
The first time we went on the road was we did the promo tour, and we drove from top to bottom.
Okay.
So we had to go
So like Rhode Island all the way down to
every
like
state, every city, college radio station, every record store,
so y'all did,
a promotional tour.
Okay, yeah.
And then we came back. And then I got a call from Pook, and Pook was like, yo, you want to go on the road or want to fly over? And some of his people couldn't go. The people that he was with, you know what I'm saying, that he grew up with, they didn't go. So me and Milk ended up going on the road, and we was just everywhere, man. It was so fun, but the experience is insane. Like, it's nothing that you do shows here. Like, when Newark, we do a show, we got the crowd and all that, but it's nothing compared to being on tour. And that's what I try to tell y'all, a lot of these young brothers. Like, you want to do it, but it takes hard work. Like, it takes money. You need money to go on tour because you got to stop every state, every city, hotel rooms, airfare. That costs money. You just can't.
For those that don't know, and not to cut you off, but it seems like you're saying like that whole tour life and that whole experience, it's a grind.
It's always a grind. It ain't no you get on and then it's happy go lucky. You have to grind, and you got to be mindful of where you at. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to experience.
Like basically what communities you in.
I promise you, right? Because when we got to California, I was in Compton in '95, right? So I had this red Nike sweatsuit on. So Milk was sponsored by Adidas and Nike and all this other stuff. So we get there, it was boxes of clothes waiting, like you could just put shit on, you know what I'm saying? And I'm downtown, and I think I was on Crenshaw, and I had this red sweatsuit on at this record pool, and the dude like, bro, you better come inside. You know, my mom, I'm from Newark, so I'm like, man, I'm good. He like, bro, you ain't gonna last too much longer out here. You stand outside any longer.
60s hood at that.
You better come inside, bro. So I kind of went inside and like, you know what? I ain't even gonna play no games out here. I don't really want to get into it. And he just schooled me on what was going on and what the culture was like was out there. You know what I'm saying? And
but
then
that kind of made you culturally aware.
Absolutely. Your cultural awareness will come up instantly when they tell you, bro, you will not survive and fit.
You better know.
Absolutely, right? You know, and I'm out there, I got on boots and shit. Like, you know, we rock boots in the summertime.
Exactly.
People looking at you crazy. It was just a crazy experience, bro. Like, I'm talking about even in San Fran, like, that was the first time I seen a black squirrel. Like, you know, we squirrels usually gray out here. I was in San Fran and seen a black squirrel, almost lost my mind.
Hey, yo, that shit was like, hold up, what type of animal is that?
Right.
But so, like, when you was out there and y'all was on, you know, on tour with Milkbone, I'm not sure if y'all was able to have access with studios as y'all was, you know, mobbing out there, doing what y'all was doing. But did that kind of help? Like, just being on tour, did that kind of help with the way you saw how to write songs?
So, the creative aspect of me writing songs was already there. Like, we didn't run into no studios out there because we was too busy moving. Like, you get on the plane, you get to the state that you in, you get off the plane, you go to the hotel, this itinerary for you. Yeah. You got something to do from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep, and then the next day it starts all over again.
Calculated.
You don't have a time for a studio session, right?
Okay.
So then the creative aspect of me seeing all of this stuff when I get home, they didn't see what I sing. Like my friends didn't see that. So I'm like years ahead of them right now.
So your mind, like back to that word cultural awareness, your mind, you had kind of saw like a lot of different things.
I seen the value in what we could do as individuals. Like the block is cool, but we don't have to be here.
Okay.
Like we can be somewhere else. There's other things for us to do. Like you don't necessarily have to be a rapper because somebody got paid to drive us around, right? Somebody got paid to hold the camera. Somebody got paid to do all of these different job titles there are. It's stuff for everybody to do. Everybody don't have to be a rapper, you know? And my mind was kind of advanced in that way, looking at things and kind of seeing things. But when you like that and the people around you are not like that, it kind of slows the process down.
Okay. Because you're trying to bring them up on speed, put them up on game, but they may not just be ready to realize or recognize that just quite yet.
And they you know what I'm saying, you can't take nothing from them. They're enjoying the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's new for them too, so they enjoying the moment, and you enjoying it with them like, yo, this is fun, right? But nobody taught us the business side of it. You know what I'm saying? There was a business side to that I didn't even pay attention to because I was too busy having fun.
Yeah.
I was having fun. I ain't think about no business. Like, and I gotta give respect to L Boog, because L Boog, my man, he was from the Zoo Crew. Before I did anything, he made sure I had a contract. He like, nah, bro, you can't go out there without a contract, and they gotta pay you every time you get into a different state. I didn't know shit about that. I didn't know anything about that.
So it's those little things that he kind of made you aware of,
right?
But there still was a whole world of other things
that I did not know. Yeah, like I didn't know nothing about ASCAP and BMI and all. I didn't know nothing about none of that stuff, even on Milkbone album. I never did no paperwork or ASCAP for none of the songs that I did, so I didn't know anything that at the time. I was still a kid, you know what I mean? So it happened, but it was an experience that can't nobody take from me.
Exactly. And so when you come back to Newark, you come back to Bricks, you know, people, were they recognizing you from like doing songs with
Absolutely. Man, listen, it was it was fun. It was one of the, because now we was already popular with people before I even did that. People already knew who we was.
Before you even got into the music.
Like before I even got into that, they already knew who we was. We live on a block. We in a $1 million block. Like if you want to say it was $1 million block.
Yeah,
people
was
getting
you
right. So we already had our own reputation, you know what I mean? And it just got better. And I started helping my team, like, yo, you gotta write. I'm gonna write for you. We writing for each other, and, you know, we doing these things together, you know what I mean? We creating a group. Like, so it was Psycho Ward, and then it went from that to IOF.
And so that's what I was gonna ask you, like, as far as with that transition of the Psycho Ward days, when you come back off-road, it's now like we come into IOF, It's Only Family.
So there was a process that happened. What happened in that process was we started getting into supreme mathematics and the YBN lessons, and we studying now. Like, so we on it. We grinding. We outside. We grinding. We in the streets, but we got book bags.
Okay, yeah.
So we kind of like the smart dudes outside. They outside, but they got books. They reading. Yeah. It went from that to from Psycho Ward to BOD, which was Build to Destroy. We was a group called Build to Destroy, and then I think Ace and True was sitting down. They was doing a song together. They was working on something, and then I think one of them, I don't know which one it was. I think it was True, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Said something about It's Only Family in one of their rhymes, and then they was like, "Yo, maybe we could do a group with It's Only Family." That was the story that was told to me, and they came up with IOF. Like, I didn't come up with that. They came up with that.
Okay.
And it just transformed from there, right?
I will say though, IOF is and always will be, in my opinion, one of the the legendary groups to come out of the city.
Right.
Like y'all had traction, y'all had that charisma, y'all had that presence, y'all had them bars. And
right.
So yeah, that
definitely was one of the dope. And it was the time like when gangs was prominent in the city, and we was actually doing our music like that, and it was geared in that realm, but it wasn't negative to the point where you like, I can't listen to that, because we would be in Mercedes and Minx, and there's Pyro in there and Grape inside of Mercedes and Minx, but we mingling with each other. They singing our music and we rocking out with them because those was our brothers. You feel like we we grew up with dudes, so we had a different relationship with brothers, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't no friction really. And you're going to get a few stragglers that be like, man, I don't fuck with them niggas, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But for the most part, it was love and a connection with brothers. And then we was running through the city like crazy. Like, I'm talking about, we was running, and it was a dope movement. It was a dope movement. Shout out to Lil Red from the Zoo Crew. That's when we did Hood Love. It was actually Red called me, said, I want you to do a song with me. And I told him I'm not going to do it without my brothers. Right? And then we did it, and we ended up doing a whole album together called Hood Love. Right? So we did the Hood Love album, and that album went crazy, bro. That album went crazy.
Definitely rung bells.
Yeah.
Bells. And so I do want to, kind of go back a little bit. So with the influx of gangs in the community, and, you said that y'all brothers kind of had knowledge of self too. And so the brothers on Chadwick, y'all guys, kind of got involved with the gang culture and everything like that too. But it wasn't like we just on the bullshit out here.
Right.
And so I felt like, from the outside looking in, and then eventually from the inside looking in, it was always a purpose. It was, we doing this for the cause and not just because.
Right.
And so speak to, that in a world where just everything was just hitting so fast. So
in the beginning, so the culture really came from being around L-Town.
Okay.
Right? That's where the culture came from. Like, I was around them a lot, you know what I'm saying? God Bless the Dead, Trigger Slash, mad love to Boob Love and BR, God Bless the Dead, BR. Those was the homies. They used to call my phone. Like, BR called me all the time. Love used to call me too. And I just had this love for them. Like, we had this connection. Okay. Shout out to Tretch and all of them, because that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Pook and me being up around them in that environment, KG, Vin, all of them. It was always love. But when it came to us in the hood, like, it came, but we wasn't off that, we gonna take it and do this with it, right? Yeah. We was actually getting teachings from dudes from California, like brothers would fly out, come out there, sit with us. I'm not gonna mention no names. That's crazy.
This is not Vlad.
Right, we ain't gonna do all of that. You know what I mean? Brothers would fly out, we would kick it. You know what I'm saying? They would see what we was like, and we had the whole hood red from Hawthorne all the way to Avon Avenue. Like, it was just red outside. You know what I'm saying? And it was love. Like, homies would come from all different sets and come on Chadwick and be around us. Like, it was always love. It never was a situation where people couldn't come be somewhere. Like, oh no, we can't go over there, because it wasn't like that. It was dudes outside who was creating that kind of culture, but we just wasn't with that because we was already studying. We had knowledge of ourselves, so harming another black man or hurting another person was the furthest thing from our mind. Like, we stuck to the principles and the morals of it, like, take care of your community, take care of your people. And that was something that we already had. Like, for me anyway, it was already in me because, my father was a bodyguard for Elijah Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So the revolutionary aspect, something that I think you wanted to talk about anyway, the revolutionary aspect of it was already in me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we come from Hayes Homes. Hayes Homes was ground zero for the riot. You know what I'm saying? Like, 67 riot. It was you know what I mean? It was a lot going on, and it was tanks in the projects. It was all, I wasn't even born then, but my parents were around, right? Yeah. My brothers and them, like, we had to grow up in the recovery of that. Like, when you think about it, you talk about Springfield Avenue was all black-owned businesses from the bottom all the way up. Growing up as a kid, that stuff was gone, right? So we had to recover from that. Like, that was a recovery. So when I talked about earlier, when we living in poverty, that was a part of that impoverished community that we was growing up in, and the recovery of all the buildings, all the stores being burnt down, and all the fires and all this other stuff. So we kind of grew up in it, and my mindset was always love for the people, like, love your people. You know what I'm saying? We was just taught that in the household. So I think that's where it came from.
It really does show, because as a person with influence, power corrupts people.
Right.
And so, you could have easily,
went in a completely different direction.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And just influence the people to be on bullshit type of timing. And, you know, from me looking at you, I always saw that you kind of had a thoughtfulness and a respect towards human life and people and what we got going on out here in the world. And I definitely commend you for that one.
I definitely appreciate it. I think that also comes from just leaving, like going on tour and seeing things. And like even when I was in Canada, the dude at the radio station was from Newark. Like, you know, I told him where I'm from. He like, what? My mother lived on Seymour. And I'm like, what? I'm from Chadwick.
That's
he,
right there.
like, so instantly, like knowing that information, when you come home and you talking to people, when you kicking them with dudes who mind frame ain't where yours at, and you like, yo, bro, it's more than that than this. And you will get into that zone where you like, yo, I could help change the way this person think, right? And you kind of go, you studying, you reading, and you going, every person you encounter, that's kind of the objective. Like, yo, you know we could do better than this. And that's, it leads into, it's the same thing in work environments, titles. I hate titles. Like, in gang culture, you got BG, YG, captain, lieutenant, sergeant, big homie, little homie. All these different titles creates division amongst people. You know what I'm saying? Because they start fighting for that. I need this title. I need to go from this to this. I need to be from this. So then you'll cut your brother's throat just to get to that part. And I took away from all of that. Like me, especially True. I love True for that. Because True be like, yo, we ain't doing, bro. Just call, that's my bro. Like, we just going to say bro. We ain't saying nothing else. That's bro. You know what I'm saying? That's my brother. We ain't no big, no little. No, that's just bro. You know what I'm saying? Because it eliminates everything. You know what I'm saying? And it eliminates all of that stuff. Like, I got a title at work, but it only exists on paperwork. You know what I'm saying? It only exists on paperwork.
Because you seem to be genuinely a person that's amongst the people and
right.
for the people. So I can see how, you know, with certain mentalities, those titles can kind of like get dangerous in the way and kind of, you know what I mean, make a person feel a type of way, or and like you said, now I want to take you out to get your title, and like, come on, what we doing?
Yeah, because people abuse that power, like you said. You know what I'm saying? Like, people get these titles and they start telling you what to do. Yeah, you got to do that, bro. You stop talking to me like that. Like, just because I'm a changed person don't mean it's just a uniform. I could put the uniform right back on. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? We that's not what the issue is. If you want to tell me something or you have a direction you feel I should go in, explain it to me, because it got to make sense for me to do anything. If it don't make sense, I'm not doing it. I don't care who you are, what you say. It has to make sense.
Yeah. And that is, like you said, it goes into the street culture, into the work culture, the family structure. Is like, respect me as a man first.
Right.
Because no matter what title or however you may look at me, I'm a man. Right. And so I also respect, you know, the fact that, you know, as a person who was outside, you know, you weren't on some, okay, you and you go do this. To where as though, if I need to get my hands dirty, so to speak, come on, let's go. Or you know what I mean, we're going to do this. And, you know, that's, you know, just such a point that I wanted to drive home as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I definitely I wasn't into the get people to do the work for you. That's one of the 48 laws of power, though. Get other people to do your work for you. I wasn't chasing power. Like, power ain't something you have to chase. If it's in you, it's in you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you got to kill somebody for power, you got to do something to somebody for power, you still ain't got no power. Because then they can take that from you.
Because once they recognize and realize that I've done all the work.
Right. You like, ain't do nothing.
What we knew do for.
Right. Absolutely. So, you know, man, it's just about guidance, man. Giving people good guidance, a better path to take, man. And that's what it was about, you know. And it helped me in the long run, because it actually transformed my life into the person that I am right now. And I got the opportunity to work with people every day, especially young people. You know what I'm saying? I work with them and I help change lives. And that's my reward.
That's what it's about. And so I do want to speak to that aha moment, you know, when you had done came back, you know, you was in the hood, you was seeing, you know, in the course of this interview, you know, maybe the people out here watching right now, you done said God bless the dead at least
5 or 6, right?
And so,
absolutely.
You know, from that angle and from that perspective, we lost a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And so within you, what was that aha moment, so to speak, where it was those like, I don't want to contribute to that part of it no more. I want to try to see if we can get people together and come together on one accord. Like, what was the shift in that part of it?
So again, we always talked about, you know, that was always the conversation amongst my brothers and us, talking to just people in general, not even just young people, but people in general, just kicking it with them, showing them a better way of life. But I think I was talking to Stretch, which is my man Blaze's cousin. I lived in a grape hood. I was the only Pyro in a grape hood.
Okay.
And I was talking to Stretch one day, and Stretch was like, yo, you need to holler at my man, holler at my little cousin Shawnee and Blaze and just a couple of the brothers and shit. They working on this and they doing this. And I'm like, no, we could talk. So me and Blaze already knew each other, so it wasn't really nothing. Like, we knew each other since we was kids. And we chopped it up. So it was just something forming. I would say it was bigger than us, right? We just was in place to make it happen. And we made it happen. And we did things. We met with which is the mayor now, Raj J. Baraka, Dave Muhammad, a lot of the brothers from the Nation of Islam, the older brothers like Captain Majid and all of them. Okay. Them was some brothers too. Them brothers was different.
Some really militant guys.
It was some militant brothers. I'm telling you. And there was a lot of us, man, but a lot of people wasn't with it. Like, they ain't agree with that. You know, we just was having meetings weekly. Like, we would go to Weekway High School, just different spots where, you know, the Nation of Islam was there, so the brothers from the FOI would do security. Okay. Like, just to pat everybody down, make sure nobody coming with guns, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we could have these conversations, and it was some real dudes in the room, right? You know, it was dudes in the room like, yo, he shot my man last week. But it was a level of respect at the time. Like, people had power in their words and who they were at the time. So I could be in a room with 10 of them, and some of them got problems with dudes who be like, yo, don't say nothing to them. And they like, all right. They knew not to say nothing, right? And it was a level of respect then. It's different now, but that kind of what happened from 2003 happened over a course of a year before we actually made the initiative to do the actual ceasefire. A couple of brothers flew to California to see Stanley Tookie Williams and all these, and a lot of the brothers from Cali. They wouldn't let brothers see him actually, but he did give us the basis of the ceasefire to copy and use, and that's what we used. Okay.
Because it was modeled actually after something.
It was modeled after something
that right already.
Because we wasn't the first ones to do it. We was the first to do it on the East Coast of this country. It wasn't done on this side of the country yet. Yeah. So we was the first to do it here, and a lot of brothers was influential in that. Like, it was a lot of brothers in that. It wasn't just me. It was some heavy hitters. Like, and a lot of them brothers is gone. You know, a lot of them brothers is in jail or dead. You know, and I just kept going. Like, I stuck to the movement. I stuck to the script, and I kept going. Yeah. And it's not an easy task. You know, a lot of people might think it's something easy to do now. Like, it's like a fad now.
Yeah. But so, like, that's the part that I kind of want to stick on, you know, very briefly before we move on into all of the things that you're doing now. At that time, you're right. There was a mentality or a mind state that, yo, what the hell is these dudes doing? Like,
Absolutely.
I got this person, you know, we just lost this homie, or they just got at my homie and we just got at them. Like, how is he and them around those jokers? And a lot of that stuff, it kind of came from the streets, but from the jails too.
Right.
Like, and so how did that feel? Knowing deep down in your heart that all you want is the betterment of your people, but there just wasn't as many people on board that should be on board with a strong movement such as the SOS movement.
So I can say, for me, like, everybody got their own perspective of how things happen. Yeah. So I can only speak from my perspective of what it was like for me under my hood. Like, I spoke to my homie, like, yo, bro, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. He said, yo, just be mindful. Yeah. Like, just be mindful. There's politics going on. Like, so just be mindful of that, right? That's what he told me. But he said, but if that's what you want to do, go for it, right? So once he said that to me, I was like, I really don't care what nobody else said. Like, none of that, nothing that it don't even matter, right? And whatever's gonna come with it, it's just gonna have to come with it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it was a dangerous time, right? Because it was a phone. Somebody called my house from the jail, sending threatening messages, and my mom heard that shit. She was losing her mind. She went nuts for that, bro.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna kill you when I come home and all this other stuff. And it was just weird, So now I'm like, let me just put the vest on, put the strap on. I'm gonna continue with my daily life. Like, it's whatever to me.
Yeah.
At the time, I'm like, man, I really don't even care because I know that this is bigger than me.
Yeah.
From my
But
perspective.
you're doing something that's so impactful
Right.
and so necessary.
Right.
Also.
So it was from my perspective. I can't speak for nobody else. Other people have their own vision of how they seen what they wanted to do according to what that movement was. Me, I was just strictly for the same thing I've been doing, changing the mindset and the hearts of young people when I'm around them or anybody that I encounter. So that was my objective, regardless of how we say. And Brother Dave Muhammad was with me. Like, I would jump out Dave van, like, you come on, we going over here.
Yeah.
So I was moving him, even the mayor, you know what I'm saying? He was in the backyards with me. Like, it's a bunch of dudes in the backyard, bro. I need you to come holler at these dudes for me. You know what I'm saying? And he was there, so he know what I did. Like, and he even say that. Like, it ain't like that's something like I'm saying new on camera. These are things that he said in meetings as a mayor, right? So it was a lot of things that I did do. I never really take credit for the stuff like I'm never putting myself on a pedestal to be like, I did this, I did that. That's not my character. Like when that becomes your character, I think you lose sight of the mission.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I just stuck to the script and it was dangerous times, bro. I'm talking about people were getting shot at, people were shooting. It was all kinds of stuff going on because, like you said, people was like, yo, who you think you is to be doing that? I'm talking about newspaper order. We had a newspaper, Star Ledger, right? And when we did it, it was Bill Cosby came out. Bill got a wind of it. He wanted to know what was going on. The London Times came out and, they asking us questions and the newspaper article when the Star Ledger, I'm the one telling people, I'm like, yo, Pyru don't stand for that. It's, people usually think, oh, it's pimping a red uniform. I'm like, that's not what that stands for, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I actually told the truth about what it stood for. You know what I'm saying? Like, the truth gonna always prevail over a lie regardless. So that hit the newspaper, and that was in jail get the newspapers.
Exactly.
They was hot, man. Who he think he is? I am who I am, regardless.
Exactly.
It is what it is. However you want to take it. But I'm still gonna continue the movement. And I got some flack from that. Even people that was running with me, like, I got a call and sis was wilding. She was like, yo, fuck you think you is? And she was going over and I'm laughing. I'm like, yo, stop.
Yeah.
Like, stop. Like, I'm not gonna do nothing to you, so I don't even know why you on the phone or you showing off.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it just be phone conversation, there's letters and stuff coming and I ignored all of that. I just stuck to the script, and God willing, I made it through.
That's a very, very, commendable thing to do. To put ourselves out there and to walk the walk and talk the talk.
Right.
A lot of people, they want to do things for the coverage, but it's the ones that's doing things in silent. Once the cameras go off, that continue to do it.
Right.
That, I'm really kind of like impressed with.
And I get it, man.
All of it is contributing.
Right.
All of it is contributing, but
I just don't care about the camera
side of it also.
Right. Yeah. I'm not really into the camera thing. Like, we did the cameras, the like it is, and we was all on news, and we did all of that, but we wasn't looking forward to doing it. Social media didn't exist then.
Yeah.
Like, when we did the ceasefire in 2004, there was no social media, and there was thousands of people outside, right, lined up around the corner, right? But there was no social media at the time. So even if brothers right now, and they're gonna be like, yeah, that was then. Okay, that was then, but then do it again. And you got social media.
Yeah.
Do it again. It's not as simple as people think it is, right? It took some hard work, some dedication, some people egos had to get put down. Take your egos to the side.
Yeah.
Even, and I meant to say this earlier, even when we talk about, the Blood and Crips situation, in 1995, I had Corrupt from the Dog Pound on the corner of Chadwick and West Bigelow with me, right? This is at the height of their career. The Chronic album is out. I'm talking about, I got one of my idols outside on the corner with me. That's a Crip.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's some homies on the corner. That's not even being discussed. We not even, the gang that wasn't even talked about. It wasn't even nothing to say, but that was in 1995. The ceasefire didn't happen to 2003, 2004. So that was 9-10 years later. You know what I'm saying? So like my mind frame was already being prepared for it anyway.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't a hard feat for me to do. You know what I mean? And a lot of brothers is going in jail right now. So I just salute those brothers and you know, send my prayers to the ones that are not here. You know?
Yeah. And you know, we definitely lost a ton. And it's a real sobering moment when you can actually sit back and just think of like, damn, I lost this bro. You know, this is, you know, to the streets, man. And there's a lot of things that, you know, we didn't really have another way, or we thought we didn't have another way, but there's always another option. And I just want to salute you for that. And, you know, your role that you played and all
Appreciate that.
But you transitioned, and like you said, you know, that was 2004. Now we're in 2021. Well, we're in 2025, but that was 21 years later. And you're still boots on the ground, touching the youth.
Right.
And so how does that, you know, how do you still get the joy or find the joy in that every day to, you know, help influence a brother or give him a way or just be a shoulder for them to lean on and just show them that there is a different way? Like how is that for you right now in this day and age?
It's a duty.
Yeah.
It's my duty, you know. And when you do something that you love, it's not work. You know what I mean? I love to sit in front of young people and give them solutions to their problems. Because I'm a solution seeker at the end of the day. That's all it is. They need solutions to their problems. And over time, over a course of 20-something years of just doing this work, just consistently and learning from people, Rob Clarks and all the other brothers that gave me, you know, opportunities and trainings and all these different things, you learn about the human being, period. Like the human, what the mind goes through, what the heart goes through, and then you think about the poverty and you think about slavery, Jim Crow, all these different things, the Willie Lynch theory and letter and all those different things. Once you learn all these barriers that keep black people back, that let you know that they had a head start, when you run into a young person, you kind of know where they at. Like, yo, you don't really know who you are yet. You know what I'm saying? So if you knew who you was, you probably wouldn't even be going through what you're going through. So let's figure out a way to start identifying some of these things. So what we got to do is we got to deprogram you right now. So they come in, you know, I get a young person, he'll come in and he's straight gung-ho. Man, I ain't with that what they call YNs. I ain't with that. I'm this. You know, I'm like, all right, I hear you. I'm with you on that. Okay. Did you know though, right? That's the thing. Did you know that this exists? And you start introducing and exposing them to different parts of their own selves. Like, for an example, a young person might come to school high in the morning, right? And I gotta understand why. Like, they smoke weed, like people think it's just recreational. It's not for them, it's medication. This is a medicated thing. Like, a young person will wake up in the morning, 9 times out of 10 in the environment and the culture that we live in right now, it takes 2 incomes to take care of one household, right? So mom can't be with you all day. Dad probably in jail. It's some barriers going on in the house before this kid gets up and walks out of that door. So to cope with that, because nobody is explaining anything to me in the house, because mom can't be here and dad can't be here, nobody's explaining to me how to maneuver through this environment. Let me smoke some weed before I go where I'm going. Right, because that's going to settle me down and be all right. I'm chilling now, right? So it takes the edge off, and then he get to school, and how am I supposed to function or focus on reading, writing, math, social studies, science, and all these different things? And I got shit going on at home. I can't focus. So that's just one barrier. Then there's the outside influence. All of these things is attacking these kids the moment they walk out the door, because they got to walk out the door to car thieves, carjackers, addicts, gunfire, gangs. They can't go nowhere. All of this stuff is in soon as they walk out the door.
As soon as you step out the door.
Soon as, right? So now, when you get into an environment with brothers like me and a team at the Street Academy, and we got to deprogram them.
Yeah.
I got to take all of what you know and take it out and put something else in there so that you know how to function when you get home. So the reward is greater because they start going home talking to their parents. Like, yo, having that conversation. Like I had a kid, this one kid, him and his mom, the kid's mom and the pops and the moms wasn't really talking to each other, right? So the kid is with us. So one of this Mook, shout out to Mook, went and hollered at the mom and then went and hollered at the father. Like, y'all got a child together.
Yeah.
I need y'all to help me help him. Yeah. So that's the part that gets deep. Like, people don't really pay attention to the other part of it, the home. Let's go home now.
Because it's bigger than
right.
It's bigger than them at that point. And I always, there was this soundbite that I came across years ago. And a lot of people like looking at the youth and they like, oh man. Mm-hmm. But damn, do we realize Malcolm Little
was,
if we never gave him the opportunity to bloom and blossom into what he became, we wouldn't have Malcolm X.
That's
if
right.
he didn't go to prison.
That's right.
Maya Angelou, if she didn't get herself together or pull herself up, she was a prostitute.
That's right.
Like, if we would have just looked at what she was, we would have just threw her away.
Right.
And we would have never have gotten the most prolific, poem of this century.
Exposure. People need exposure. Expose them kids to different things.
Yeah, we can't just give up on the youth or say that, oh, they're a lost cause and this, that, and the third. It's like, we got to kind of work with them and try to shape that. Mm-hmm. Give them the opportunity to grow and expand. Shit, even speaking for myself, when I was younger, I just kept going back and forth to prison, jail, county. Eventually, I got out of that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I grew up and I became, productive member. But shit, what would have happened if I would have never gotten that opportunity to change?
So look at the challenge in this, though. So it's almost 8,000 plus dropouts in Essex County, in Newark alone, right? So you're talking about 8,000 plus dropouts, and I can only get 35 kids every 4 months. I got a fight ahead of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a fight, and I'm not talking about what other organizations are doing, because they doing their jobs too. Like, everybody doing what they're doing.
Plays a role.
Everybody got a part to play. I'm just speaking about what I have to do.
Yeah.
So I know that my challenge is bigger than me. Like, for every 35 kids I get, I might lose about 6 or 7 of them might drop out of the program because they want to be outside. They don't want to be. I don't want to hear what you're talking about. You want some old head shit. I understand where you're coming from, but you'll be back, because the stuff that we tell you, you can't unhear it.
Yeah.
So when you get back outside, that's all it takes. That's all it takes. And they'll get outside and they'll run into them problems, and the seeds start growing, and they be like, yo, you did say this. Bro, can I come back? Yeah, you can come back.
Yeah.
Some of them I got to take the training wheels off. Like, some of them be aggressive and, man, they say stuff to me and disrespect me in ways like, man, fuck this, I ain't doing. I will go outside. Yeah. And then they get out there, and then a month will go by, yo, I can come back. No, you can't come back because of what you said to me. Yeah. I need you to be accountable for that. But I got some other options for you. I'm going to send you over here. I don't want to go over there, but then you don't want no help because you just want me to take care of you. I can't do that. You know what I mean? So, and then some people don't, and even in other organizations, some people don't understand how it works. Like, I can't take on everybody's kids. Yeah. I can't. I only got a seat for like 35 of them. If I had the space to hold 70, I would. Yeah. But I don't have the space to do that, right? And I got 4 months. So in 4 months, we do what we do in 4 months, it takes a high school to do in 4 years. So a kid might come to me on a second grade reading level, right? We got work to do. So that means it's 2 components. You got the academic, you got an academic component at the program, which is cool. And I'm just being honest, but I don't give a fuck about a diploma. That's not my concern. My concern is the social emotional component, because the other component.
If you can master that, then you can
right,
get to the other.
Because the other stuff is easy. That's on you. You know what I mean? It's ways to get. You could take a test to get a diploma. That's nothing. You could just keep practicing. You could get that. Yeah. But the social emotional component is how they. interact with people outside and how they interact with themselves and how they interact with the people they're going to have to work for, go in an environment they're going to do business with. So that's my concern, and that comes with having knowledge of self, having self-directed leadership, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Those are the 3 core values of NSA, right? And that's fundamental to the program. We don't base the program off of academics.
Okay.
This ain't a school.
Yeah.
This ain't no school.
And so, like, I want you to speak to that. So, like, how did you come up with that curriculum? Like, how was that? Where did it come from?
So the mayor initially started the program based off of the Street Academy in Harlem. In 2016, he called me up and said, yo, I got something for you. He was telling me this in 2015. We was just working on shit. That's when I had all of the part-time jobs, and he kept telling me, I got something for you. And he gave me the Street Academy. He said, this is the Street Academy, Newark Street Academy, and this is, get it done.
So the blueprint was out there. We just need the people that's going to put in the blood, sweat, and tears.
The blueprint, there was a foundation for it,
Yeah.
but we built the plane and flew it at the same time. So we had brothers like Khalik and Elevation. We had the gods from Harlem, the Street Academy in Harlem.
Yeah.
That's the foundation. That's the knowledge of self component, right? But then there's us, and we have all of these different entities together in one that we built. Like, we built the plane and flew it at the same time. So we in the air, but yo, you got to fix the wing, bro.
So it's like not trial and error, but we kind of figure this out
as we go along. So each year it get better, right? Right now I'm on vacation, and this is the first vacation we had in 10 years. Like, and the people in the community don't know this. They don't know that we never took a summer vacation.
So it's just been
consistent
work.
All year round. We working all year round. Wintertime, summertime, springtime, fall. We just working, right? And a lot of people didn't understand it. They don't know. Like, I need a break. The staff need a break, right? And me being in leadership, you have to understand that these are human beings, and they got lives too outside of this work environment. And taking on other people's kids or other people's problems, then take them home to your wife and your kids, and that's a lot of So you got to be mindful of the mental health of the people and the staff that work for you, and you got to be mindful of how you treat people. Are they happy at work? That comes with leadership.
Yeah.
Even at NSA, when you come in the building, you'll never know who the boss is. Right? You'll never know, because that's the environment that we create. It's a family. So if something, like, I'm just keeping it 100. I lost a student last night, right? Gunfire. And the staff is talking to each other. We on vacation, but we talking to each other, right? And a young kid, they made a post, and a young kid up there was, like, making jokes. But we working, so get that number to me. Yeah. Right?
And so the one who was actually making jokes, he was kind of one of the students also?
We get that number.
Yeah.
We found that number, and I called him. I'm outside waiting for you. I'm on the phone with him. Hey, yo, bro, go up there and take that down, because that's not what we getting ready to do. Right? That's not what we do, right? And these are the things, the small things like that is called correct behavior modification.
Exactly.
Right? So behavior modification means everything that they do, whether they sag their pants, whether they curse a lot, whether the habits, the things that they do every day, that's the behavior that you have to change if you want them to change the condition of their hearts and their minds. And brothers don't see that because they condone the behavior that they do. Oh, no, they outside. That's their life. It's their culture. No, it's not. That's not their real culture.
Yeah, I kind of hate that when I hear that. It's like a culture of negativity,
right.
A culture of criminality,
right.
Like, all this shit is just associated with black people. That's not our
culture.
Right.
No, that's not our culture.
Like, come on, bro.
Stop. So what they doing is making poverty look good. This fancy ass poverty. A piece of shit is a piece of shit. I don't give a fuck if you put it in a Snicker wrapper. It's still a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? So stop trying to put this image on it. No, change the dynamic of how people see us. Yo, it's the surface. And I was thinking about this before I know I was going to come up here. And it's the surface. Like, the white, God forbid, people don't like us because of the surface. My skin, your skin. The surface. Not what's beneath my skin. Yeah. You hate this.
Yeah.
It's
not
the surface.
Kind of
right. So And I'm like, yo, you know what's beneath the surface is the same as an ice cube, like an iceberg. Like the iceberg on top is beautiful. You out there in the world, you see it. Oh, that's beautiful. It's way more under there, but it's like 65 million years of frozen ice with all kinds of shit in there. I got a lot of shit in me. It's here, but I never revealed it. That's it.
To know it,
right?
See it.
Can you imagine all of that in a young person and they only 15, 16 years old and you see the surface of them and the surface look crazy than the motherfucker, but underneath that surface is a kid. It's a kid in there
1000%.
that didn't get the opportunity that we had as kids and had a childhood.
And so I do want to, like, that's a sad story of, one of the students, passing away. But can you speak to some of the success stories of some of those that have came back, that have gone through the Newark Street Academy?
Absolutely.
That have come back and hollered at you like, look, bro, I'm doing this now. I'm in this college, or maybe I'm doing this, or maybe even some of that who have come and become on the staff later on. Right.
So I got Naya works at NSA. Naya was one of the first students in the first cohort we ever had. In 2016, Naya actually works at NSA. So
that's dope.
She
Shout
gets
out to Naya.
she got that experience, and we got LA. LA was a kid down bottom. He was down there, got caught up. Charges was crazy. He was facing 41. LA beat the charges. He works at the Prudential Center now. He's doing what he's supposed to do, right? And he's working his way through it. So it's lots of them. Who just came to us the other day? Another one. Yanni came to us. She's a nurse now. Yanni was the youngest person that got a diploma. She was 16. She got a diploma at 16. She was one of the youngest ones. Damn. We got I got a lot of success stories. Who else was? Even though he's in jail now, but I can give you this story. Jasir. Jasir was a kid who, and I love him. That's my guy. He came. He had some addiction issues.
Okay.
Right. And we tell the story every time. And when he got in there, we identified with that. So we like, look, bro, you can't be here like that. You have to you got to do something else. You can't be. Man, he was so offended by that. He went outside, he went on live. Man, I'm going to annihilate y'all. I'm going to blow this. And he was going off outside, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, bro, like it's other kids and they come and they bringing the phones like, yo, he outside. Wow, he on live.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I got him. So I went out.
That's just this era right here that we have, but go ahead.
I went out there with him and I'm talking to him. I'm like, look, the same energy you had doing that, I'm going to need you to take that same energy and apologize. I need you to go live and apologize. And then in order for you to be in here, you got to go to an outpatient program.
Yeah.
Right? He did it. He went on live. This is how he said it. I'm sorry. So I'm like, yo, this guy crazy, though. I love him to death, bro. I love him to death, bro. Yeah. We took him on a trip to D.C.
Okay.
Because we usually take them on trips. So we went to the Smithsonian, the Black Smithsonian down there.
Okay, yeah.
And we take him down there, and I had something for him because his mom, she went through some things, and she was an addict, and he didn't know I knew her.
Okay.
Right? Another parent came and like, Middy, you know who that is? I'm like, nah, that's whatchamacallit's son. I'm like, yeah. I went and found a picture of his mother. He has never seen his mother smile with all her teeth since he never seen her like that.
Damn.
So I went and found that picture for him, right? And DC, I said, I got something for you. And he cried. He was like, yo, I've never seen my mother look like this.
Yo. Because our parents are always our first superheroes.
Right.
Man.
So, just him seeing that, and then because he got tattoos everywhere, like he got all these tattoos and shit.
Okay.
So he looked like something else, but he rode skateboards. So he was going to school for nursing. So, they was looking at him differently.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So he ended up going back outside and getting in trouble. And I talked to him, kicked it with him on the phone. But the best part about it is, okay, you in there, but your girl in the program, and she just got a diploma. She graduated last week. So you might not get it. He got his diploma before anybody. He scored higher than anybody. After he came back, he scored the highest test, got his diploma. And then he sent this girl to us. I need y'all to help her. And we helped her.
And those be sometimes the most intelligent kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, from maybe some trouble past, maybe some, you know, a rough situation,
Right.
maybe some drugs there, whatever the case may be. But we do have some talented kids out here, man.
You just
And
got to
we
take
need to pour
time.
into 'em.
That's it. Take some time and sit with them, man. I can guarantee you that the hardest ones are the ones that'll cry. You give them 5 minutes in the room with me, they crying.
Yeah.
They're going to cry because they got so much built up. They angry. I get why you want to kill somebody. I totally understand it, right? But it's displaced anger, right? So let's take the anger that you got and put it somewhere else so that you can start flourishing in other ways that you didn't know you were capable of doing.
Absolutely.
Right, so it's so many different avenues and so many different ways to help these young people, man. And I don't have all the answers, but I do got some of them, right? Because people be like, man, you don't know everything. Well, that just means you want me to know more than you. I know a lot more than you think I do.
But what was the analogy that you said earlier off camera about the circle? And
Right.
so you gotta just
You
start.
gotta start.
The circle may not be perfect, but
Right.
you gotta draw it.
Yeah, you gotta draw
get
it.
in there, you
That's
gotta
right.
start with it.
That's right.
And that will lead, you know,
To perfecting your craft.
exactly.
Same thing with drawing and art and all that other stuff. I didn't go to school for that.
But that's what I kind of wanted to transition to. That was a hell of a segue right there. We locked in, bro. We locked
Definitely.
in. Symmetry. But so with the drawing, so you now kind of have the animated series that you're working on.
Right.
And, you know, you're about to put out there.
So it's always been something I always wanted to do. Like I'm a fan of animation and anime. Like I love cartoons. I love it. And for me to be able to create one of my own based off of an album that I did. So because I kind of like backed up from my music, if I'm going to do music, it has to mean something to me. I'm not concerned about what the world think or what people should think.
Not trying to catch a
I'm
vibe.
not trying to do that. I don't want. It has to mean something to me. I actually did my album in like 7 days. It took me 7 days to do that.
Okay.
And when I listened to it, like the first time, when you do it, you don't hear it until it's all said and done, and it got mixed. And I sat down and I listened to it, and I cried, bro, because I'm like, yo, this is one of the dopest albums I ever did in my life, right? And it's a 3-part series, so it's a soundtrack to trauma.
Soundtrack to trauma.
And then the next one is the soundtrack to mental health, and then the next one is the soundtrack to healing. Okay. So I want to do like a 3-piece to it, and they 35 minutes long each, right? Gives me like an hour and 40 minutes, hour 45 minutes.
So was that intentional, like that time frame, or that's just
So
how it shaped out?
That's how it shaped out, which gives me an actual movie, right? It gives me an actual movie, which I can kind of break down into sections and do a series with along the way. And you can learn from this stuff, right? You know, and so that's what it's really based on, just teaching young people, and then you get them while they're young, because if we don't get them while they're young, we don't know what that path going to be. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to deter them from the avenues that we took. So the animation, I got a brother named Jacob working on the animation with me right now, and it's strenuous work. Like animation is extremely expensive. That's extremely expensive. Like for 30 minutes of, and this is a deal. This is a sweet deal for me. Just 35 minutes of animation cost me fucking $13,000. That's only 35 minutes, right?
So there's so many drawings.
There's so many,
like all of the movements
right,
have to be drawn out. I don't know what the process is nowadays with the computers and everything, but I kind of
it's still the same because it's frames.
Okay, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you gotta kind of draw every frame and have every frame done, and so it's based off of the Trauma soundtrack?
Yes, it's based off the, so it's the actual soundtrack. Like the host, it's actually playing out.
So he went to go meet the girl.
Yeah, meet the girl.
Homeboy, I guess her baby father, whatever, got bumped off and all of that stuff.
It's a crazy story. You know, it's dope because it walks you through it in a matter of, it seemed like a couple of days. There's no time frame on it, but if you just listen to it, you kind of see what happens. But the trauma in it is really what I wanted to focus on, so then I can then tell people how to heal from some of these things. Like,
and that's what I was about to say. So it's not so much of the trauma. It is the trauma. The trauma plays a very significant part, but it's also the doing the work on yourself to get.
That's right. That's right. And even it was the song at the it's one of the songs near the end when he get on the bus to go look for the job, right?
Yeah.
So it was dope. That's one of my favorites anyway, because I have never heard nobody spit a verse getting on the bus and tell the exact thing that happens when you get on the bus. You waiting for the bus, you get on the bus, you walk up to the back, people on the bus, it's babies crying, it's gum on the pole, it's all kinds of stuff going on the bus.
Exactly.
And this is why I don't like getting on the bus. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't like getting on the bus, bro. It's too much stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
I did it from the perspective of the victim. Like, even when he got shot.
Yeah.
Like, I told it from the victim's perspective. Whenever we hear people talk about shootings and all this stuff in their music, it's always the shooter.
Exactly.
It's never the victim, the person that gets shot. Like, we never talk about what this individual goes
There's a whole
through.
another side to that.
Right. So he on the ground and his phone's out, his cameras, where's my family at, where's my mother, the ambulance, the police, they asking you questions. He got to go through all this stuff on the ground, he dying, and you asking me all these questions and shit, you know what I'm saying?
But even in that part though, bro, like that's why I feel like it's such a dope message to that album. If y'all haven't heard that, it's on Apple Music, it's everywhere where you can find streaming.
Right.
On all platforms, the soundtrack to Trauma. But there was a conversation with one of the bros.
On the phone conversation?
Yeah, but he was trying to get you to ride and all this.
He didn't want to do it.
But yo, I just feel like that was just
Influence, yep.
It was an impactful conversation.
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean, yeah, y'all gotta check that album out.
It went from therapy, like the first session is a therapy session.
Yeah.
And he talk about his childhood.
Yeah.
He leaves that and run into a girl, and she like, yo, just come see me later on. He get there, and there's domestic violence taking place.
Exactly.
Right? And then he leaves that because he intervenes with this domestic violence and fights dude. Leave there, go to the bar to have a drink. And at the bar, you know, people recorded that fight. That's how this shit works. They recorded the fight. Yeah. And then he leaves the bar and gets to the block, and dude's like, yo, that's a nigga who had a fight with your cousin. Shoot him. He gets shot. When he gets shot, he has another therapy session. She comes to the house, and then he get that phone call from the home like, yo, you ain't gonna do nothing about that? You ain't gonna do nothing? And he influenced him to say, yeah, I'm gonna do it. So then he go outside and get chased, right? He go outside and get chased by the cops and get locked up. And then you get locked up and you sitting there with the old head, and you mad at the old head because he telling you what you should and what shouldn't be doing, right? You know what I'm saying? And then you leave there and you go try to find a job. After you get the job, you run into the same chick that started this shit in the beginning. It's a cycle.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, I wrote a whole nother film based off of that called The Revolving Door.
Okay.
So that's insane too. That's insane.
We gotta kind of like in real life, we gotta kind of peep these, you know, things that's coming up to us, so we kind of won't make those same mistakes.
That's right. That's right.
We gotta kind of be aware and observe what's going on out
Right.
there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But that, I mean, look, I was blown away when I heard it. I'm like, oh yeah, bro, like he really put a thoughtful project together. And I don't, you know, I like to listen to, you know, the rah-rah shit every now and then too. But when something has a purpose to it, a message to it, like it can give you those bumps, man.
Yeah.
You get those chills, like, cause you can relate to some of the stuff that's going on. Like, yeah, man, it's just dope. I can't give you enough praises for that.
No, I appreciate it, bro. I definitely appreciate it. I think that did something to me. I'm actually gonna listen to it when I get in the car, just because we talking about it. I gotta hear it because the production was crazy. Especially shout out to Ipkiss. Ipkiss did the production, and Shaheed Push Buttons at MMO Sound Group. I did the music there, and he engineered it and mixed it over there. So like, shout out to my brothers because I just stick to my people. You know what I mean? I keep my money with my people that's dedicated to it. Keep it in the circle.
That's a really, really good point of there being so much talent in the city.
Right.
And, you know, that's kind of what this platform, you know, was even birthed out of. Mm-hmm. Just putting a highlight on people in and around the city, you know what I mean? Essex County. I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, you from Irvington or you from Newark.
Right.
Like, bro, we all together, man. We all out here together. You look like me.
Right.
What you say? It's the surface. We all, you know
it's the
what I mean?
surface. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, we all more relatable than we are different.
That's right.
And so I love to see people out here doing stuff. And that was a very good point about, you know, just putting somebody on who's out here and they doing the same things.
Right.
And, you know, trying to reach some of the same goals. But with that being said, I do want to kind of shift a little bit because we touched on, you know, a wide range of topics. But as far as the industry and Jersey's place in that. Do you feel like Jersey is blackballed, or like what do you feel like? Why? Because I just got finished saying that we have so much talent in this pool. Why do you feel like we aren't at a place of prominence in the industry?
My humble opinion is, I think it's the unification that we should have that we don't have. If we was more in tune with helping each other as opposed to somebody trying to be the first to do something, I think we would be better off. A lot of people would say it's the gatekeepers and those that came before us, but me personally, and this includes me, and I want to say this on camera for brothers to see it. For me personally, I took it personal in the beginning growing up until I realized that they don't owe us anything. So if I offended any of my brothers along the way, like I apologize to all of those dudes, man. Like I was in a different space mentally, you know what I mean? And I kind of faulted them for the shortcomings that we didn't have, and it's not their fault. It's much more of our own faults of us not being going to get it. Like just go get it. You know what I mean? And
go get it.
That's it. Like
go get it.
We just gotta go get it, you know what I mean? But also to the brothers who are still saying the gatekeepers is the ones that's keeping us back, then maybe you should go sit down and have a conversation with the gatekeepers and talk to them, like, and let them know how you feel. Whether they agree with it or not, at least you get it off your chest and say, this is how I feel, this is what I think should have been done or could be done. Because even though we didn't get the respect and the stuff that we deserve, there's still an opportunity for us to still do it.
Still an opportunity. There's no time like the present.
Right. We still can do these things. We still can get it done. You know what I mean? All we got to do is just support each other. Like I don't have a problem. Like dudes know I love supporting them. Like I support everybody, and I don't have a problem with.
And I feel the same way. Like I think it is a topic that's kind of swirling around.
Right.
About us being shut out, things of that nature, gatekeepers. But I honestly feel like there is no boogeyman.
Right.
Like
it ain't.
Like, and I feel like I want to put that part out there that if we work hard enough and we put our money where our mouth is and we do all of the things, we go that extra mile, we can achieve the things that we want. Right. I don't want someone coming up behind me or after me because I didn't have the discipline to stay out of jail, or I didn't have the discipline to stay in that studio, or I didn't have the discipline to spend that money on those videos when them videos was $1,500 and $1,000 back in the day. I didn't have that discipline to do that. Right. And so I don't want my shortcomings to be rubbed off on the next generation that's behind me.
Right.
Like I want them to know that there is a pathway to success.
That's right.
In whatever industry that you're doing. Like you can achieve this shit, bro. Just go out there and get it. Like, and that's kind of like the message that I kind of like wanted, but I was curious just to know what you thought about that because you were, at the brink of, everything.
Also, we gotta be mindful that people only make it seem like you can only be a rapper, a basketball player, or like something like that. Like it's other things you can do besides those two things. You don't have to play sports or be a rapper or a singer to be successful.
Yes.
There's so many different avenues to be successful, and there's so many different opportunities and jobs that you can do that you can be successful in. Like it's some successful painters, it's some successful electricians, plumbers, construction, architects, lawyers. That's so much stuff you can do out there that you don't have to.
1,000%.
I don't think we need another rapper. Like we don't need no more rappers. Like we got enough of them. Like we got enough basketball players. We got enough football players. We got enough soccer players and baseball. Yo, it's other stuff you can do that's making millions and millions of dollars.
Yes.
Right. So I don't want people to get that concept in that mind. Like the only thing that black people can do is play sports or rap or sing. It's other things that we can do. And it's ways out of this, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there is, ever since Biggie, you either selling crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot.
Right.
And I add rapper to that because it seems like those are the three things that we think that we can do to be successful. But you are right. The world needs more truck drivers.
Right.
The world needs more plumbers. The world needs more electricians. The world needs more videographers.
Right.
You know, you don't have to be the one to go to the NFL. The world needs more personal trainers, more physical therapists.
Right.
There's just a myriad of things that we can do, and it's all up to you. It's all up to us.
That's right.
We have the power to go get that and do that.
And if we say it more, if we promote that more, like, we gotta be the voice for ourselves. Like, we gotta promote each other. You know what I'm saying? And that's something I said to you on Facebook. Like, bro, I'm sharing everything. Like, it don't take nothing but it ain't even 2 seconds. You click the share button and then hit it
right
again,
there.
and it's right there. Like,
you actually don't even have to put a caption on it. You can literally just press the share and then okay, like,
and it's done. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it don't take much to do that, man. And it's a lot of brothers that I know of that would not share anything.
Yeah.
And I share all of this stuff, which it don't bother me at all, because what I've learned, that my own people where I live at is not going to support me. It's going to be the strangers.
Yeah. And that's sad, but that's kind of always been, you know, a mind state that you kind of gotta go outside of your own to go get popping, and then come back, and then at home will respect you and champion you.
Yeah,
but
it happens like that, man.
Like you said, I think it takes for us to change that narrative.
That's right.
Just to, like you said, like, I don't even have to want anything off of your success, but I feel like you being successful
helps me be successful.
Yeah, it helps me be successful, and it shows that guy that's after me that, oh, there's a path.
It can be done.
It can be done. And so, yeah, man, I want to see everybody make it. And, you know, a lot of people say that sometimes, but I genuinely feel like that.
Right.
Like, I have no issues with, you know, someone being successful. I don't think that takes away from what I'm doing at all.
Right.
So.
I don't care if you first. I don't care if you win first. Who cares if you win first?
Exactly.
You can win first, you can win second, you can win third, you can win in any position there is, you can still win.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
I didn't realize how much pride I actually have in my city, in my state, in my community. I want to see us lifted up. I want to see us, you know, put in those places. But I know it's going to take work. I know we got to do that work and things of that nature.
Definitely.
There is one thing that I would like to rewind back to. Speaking of the IOF days, there was the time with the Puff, with the 24 Hours to Live, but there was also the Straight Like That song.
Yeah. So Straight Like That was a record on my album that I gave True a single on my album, and it was me and True on the record. And Ace that's when they was doing the battles at the time. All the hip hop battles and all the rap battles that y'all see, there was a founder for that.
Yeah.
And Ace was one of them dudes.
Yeah, Ace was actually, at that time, it was the not BET, it was the MTV. Was it MTV? I feel like it was MTV.
It might have been MTV.
Yeah, he had went up there.
Ace went up there, and we actually went, Kanye West was the judge, Ludacris, and somebody else was a judge at the time when Ace was up there, and we was giving our music out like backstage. You know, we was giving our music out to them, and we ain't even think nothing of it. Like we wasn't even paying that shit no attention. We was in True House, listening to the radio, and Wendy Williams was on the radio at the time, and she was like, "There's a Newark-based group named IOF suing Ludacris." We didn't even know we was suing Ludacris at the time. You know what I mean? So it was crazy work, bro. But then, you know, the brothers that we was running with, old heads was with us, and it was just chaotic, man. Old heads is crazy, bro. I'm telling you, especially the ones that they be different. They be trying to get shit from you, but that's a whole nother story. But that's a whole different kind of conversation, man. Because we had to get aggressive.
Yeah.
But we went to court for like. We had a lawyer. I forgot his name. We had them covered. We had a musicologist study the song, and she said, "Y'all got them covered."
Yeah.
It was a $50 million case.
Okay.
The lawyer we had disappeared on us. The nigga Luda had 3 lawyers. So they had to pay our lawyer off, and he just disappeared on us, and we couldn't take the case into a higher court because we went to high court, but they couldn't take the evidence from the old.
Oh, so all of that evidence was left behind.
They
It was
couldn't
basically
take it-
stricken from the record.
So they worked on this because they would have had to give us all of that money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And so when a situation happens like that and you kind of actually lose through litigation, did that kind of put the strain on the group? Like how was that, like, moving forward?
From my perspective, it did in a way.
Yeah.
Because mentally some people put themselves in different positions, titles and positions kind of throw things off. So we kind of just went different ways at the time, and I had attitude, you know what I'm saying? Like I had a real bad attitude at the time, and I think some of the brothers, I don't cut corners, they know what this is already. So even if they watch it, they know what it is. They know I don't give a fuck. Some people get big-headed sometimes, and they kind of forget how they got there. You know what I'm saying? Like, there would be no IOF if it wasn't for Middy. There would be no Psycho Ward or no BOD if it wasn't for me.
Okay.
That's not what they was doing. It was something that I was doing.
Yeah.
Right? And what I did initiated the spark. It was me who said, yo, come on, let's sit down and write and do it. That's the truth. You know what I'm saying? That's not, and then you got brothers we get brothers from other places, areas to come and join the team. And, we did it that way. But, some people get big-headed and they like, yeah, I'm the man. And I'm like, bro, no, you're not. But we're not about to do all of that. Like, you could just go over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what happens. And then it gets chaotic. I actually had it out with one of my brothers about this a couple months ago, Ace and shit. Me and Ace had some words about this. And I love him. He's my brother at the end of the day.
Shout out
that
to
don't
Ace.
change anything. But just his conception, his perspective of it was different from mine. Right?
Okay.
And I just had to tell him, like, nah, that's not what it was. You know what I'm saying? And, we had some words with each other. But I just was like, I don't even want to talk to you no more. I ain't doing all that shit. Like, I love you, brother. We ain't about to do all of that. You know what I mean? Like, that shit was 20, 30 years ago. We shouldn't be talking about that right now.
And I honestly feel like, in that moment when you realize, like, all right, bro, like, still my brother, I still love you, but like this conversation is not, We're
not gonna do that, you know? And I love him to death.
It's not advancing the conversation.
It's not, and it's not even advancing us as brothers. And these are the things, those kind of conversations are lessons that young people can learn from to see how brothers interact with each other and don't have to resort to violence to fix a problem. We could just, well, I'll see you later. We ain't about to do that right now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It ain't gotta get escalated to the next level because sometimes things get heated.
Yeah.
And a lot of people solve their problems with violence. Like they don't know how to just have a conversation because they pride be in the way.
And so, if any lesson, I know you said that we don't need more rappers and all of that, but like any lesson that you can give to that person that's coming up that may be watching this, that can probably, like, one piece of jewel that can help them on their journey, or just, a piece of advice that you feel like will help?
Never quit. Don't listen to nothing I say, because what I say don't matter for you. It don't work for you. It worked for me. Do what you do. Even if I said we don't need no more rappers, that doesn't mean you don't need another rapper or you don't want to be a rapper. That don't have nothing to do with it. The objective is do what you feel is best for you and never stop. Never stop. The moment you have a doubt, you're going to set yourself back a couple steps, right? So don't have no doubts and believe in yourself. Believe in what you can do. And it's possible. I know for a fact. I done accomplished so much stuff in my life. People they still didn't do, and they in their 50s and they still didn't do what I did when I was 21. Like I traveled the country and the world by the time I was 21, and people in their 50s never did that, right?
Yeah.
And I see it now. Like, people be like, yo, I'm flying out the far. I was like, man, I was flying at like 19. I was gone. You know what I'm saying? You know what you talking? I've been doing that.
I've been a part of that. Yeah, I've been a part of that.
Even the partying and stuff. I've been in clubs and stages and stuff. I did that already. So I'm not fascinated by it. But for people coming up behind me, man, and they watching this, look, go for yours. Do what you need to do. Learn the business. It's 10% talent and music and 90% business. Learn the business and learn what you need to learn, and don't let nobody get in your way, and don't let nobody steal your joy and your happiness.
Damn, there you have it. Don't stop. Learn the business. Do what makes you happy, what you're passionate about.
That's right.
And don't let nobody steal your joy and your happiness, man. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
So, once again, I appreciate you for coming through, my brother. Was there anything that you feel like you wanted to get off your chest that we may not have touched upon?
The only thing I want to say is I got love for my brothers, and shout out to Sal. I didn't get the opportunity to mention you, but shout out to Sal. You know, I love you, bro. We got to keep pushing and keep going. Shout out to all my brothers that I grew up with. And, you know, the city, I honor the mayor, Raz J. Baraka. That's my brother. He's a great brother. And we got to just keep pushing forward. And last but not least, I honor you, bro, because we got history together, right?
We definitely do.
And we here now. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We here now. So that I appreciate you, and I love you for even having me here, man.
1,000%. And, you know, I definitely appreciate you, and I love you, and I look at all that you're doing out here, and I respect the hell out of that shit, man. You know what I mean? There's no other way, and I'm not embarrassed to let that be said on camera. Like, I seen the transition. Like I said, I never saw you as a person who was just happy-go-lucky and just reckless with how you do things, but to see you take all of that energy, effort, and mentality and step it up and be action-based, man, it's something to see, bro. It's something to see, and I feel honored that you could lend your credibility to this platform.
It's love,
I definitely
bro.
appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate you. You know what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's love, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. And with that being said, the brother, if you got anything out of this, consider subscribing. Stay tuned for the next one. We out.
Peace.